Hello again, Cloud Gurus, and welcome back. In this lecture, now that we've covered a little about serverless, we're going to talk about specific applications for Lambda and what it's particularly good at. In general, a Lambda function is going to be easier to maintain than running your own server that's going to be consistently going and waiting for requests, as long as you're able to hook the Lambda function up to the right event. So simplicity. An example I like is if you have a cron server that's responsible for running all the time and running jobs at specific times, if you can convert all of those cron jobs to Lambda functions, you might have just saved 23 hours a day of that EC2 instance cost. So easy way to save money. And it's easier for operations because they have less overhead to worry about and check in on because AWS is doing that for them. And you've outsourced that work to one of the best ops teams in the world. And of course, it's easier for devs because you have a consistent environment. You can deploy a new Lambda function for testing and it barely costs any money. It's just an easier to manage code lifecycle for developers. There are tons of uses for Lambda. The most obvious is ETL jobs. So when you extract data from somewhere, you have to transform it and then you load it into another data source. So that might be taking data that's being put into S3 and loading it into a Redshift database, or taking data that is coming in via HTTP calls and putting them into a SQL database, creating HTTP APIs or REST APIs with API Gateway, using Lambda as the compute part of your mobile backend, either through the AWS mobile services or through API Gateway, or just by directly invoking via the SDK. Lambda can also serve as a smart glue for your infrastructure for automating reacting to events. So if you get an event saying that an instance is going to be retired, your Lambda can react and help remediate that automatically. Because Lambda can listen to events from databases like DynamoDB and Aurora, it's also great for use in data validation. So you can let data be written to the database and then Lambda will pick it up based on a trigger and can validate that, for example, an address is correctly formatted. And the last part is security automation. There are actually AWS services built around Lambda functions. One of them is AWS Config, where you can supply custom Lambda functions to remediate security and configuration issues that AWS Config finds. What that really comes down to is just another event source that you can bring information into Lambda and then react to it with custom code. That's all for this lecture. If you have any questions or would like clarification on anything, please see us in the forums. I watch the forums and other instructors and community members also keep an eye on them. So let us know if you have any questions and I'll see you in the next lecture.